A very warm welcome to all of you to Ayurvedic Healing and Beyond webinar. And today the topic that we are going to discuss about is the healing powers of pranayama. We will start with a short chanting of a Vedic mantra. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today's topic on the healing powers of pranayama. The word prana and ayama, both of them constitute pranayama. And the concept of prana is something that which is very unique to the school of Vedic philosophy, in Ayurveda, in yoga, in many of the Eastern sciences, like in Chinese medicine, they have a concept called as chi. It is also very something similar to the concept of prana. Now let us understand what is pranayama. Many people consider pranayama means it's like a breathing exercise or a breath work. Yes, there is a lot of truth to that, but that is not the reality of the word pranayama. So, in order to understand the true concept of pranayama, let us understand the meaning of the word prana. The prana has two sounds, pra and an. Like there is a the first sound is pra, which you will see in the words like prakriti. Prakriti is like something that which is natural or nature. Now, if you take the root meaning of the word prakriti, it also has the sound pra. In fact, in English, we have a word called as progress or pro. We have this, he is pro veganism, he is pro certain political parties. So the word pro means something for life, for it is something to support. Something means that is going to evolve, to grow. And that is what the word pro actually means. I mean, the word pra actually means. So pra, an, the word an, the an in Sanskrit, you will see in a lot of words it is ending with an. Like, for example, atman. The word an actually means to absorb or to inhale. So the word pran is prana. Pran, when you add an agaranda to it, it becomes prana. Now in South India, like in Malayalam, we have a term whenever we get so irritated with someone and you feel that they are draining your energy, we say that, oh, that person just sucks the pranan out of you. It means he just sucks the energy out of you and you feel so drained out after meeting this person, you want to run away from that person or that experience. Or when you go to that place, you feel the prana is sapped out or drained out. Or when you go to some place, you feel the prana is very good. When you go to a place where there is full of nature, you feel the prana is fantastic. So pran, it actually means your life energy, the energy that is responsible for the growth, energy that is responsible for all the life that is happening. See, the energy that we are yet to find out with many researchers, like God's particle, we need to find what is the God's particle. All this is to find out what is this prana. And this surrendering to this energy, and we have a name to this energy, that which we do not know what is exactly the cause, but that is responsible for all the things that is working. Like there are statements which says, I know how this bulb works with electricity, but I don't know why it works. And that answer to that why is what we call it as prana. And in fact, in Ayurveda, we have this concept called as prabhava, that we do not know what is the actual cause for that thing, what is happening, but there is definitely something that is going on. And that is what we call it as prana. And the word ayama, like prana and ayama constitute together as the word pranayama. The word ayama literally means to regulate or to influence or to control. Like you have a, if you go to places where there are a lot of heat and you have a fan, ceiling fan, and you have a regulator, and by regulating you can control the speed, whether it should be slow or it should be fast, so that it can enhance the wind that can hit on you, so you feel not so hot, and your ability to overcome the heat induced sweating can also reduce because of the wind that is coming. So that regulator, or the ability to regulate, is what we call in Sanskrit as ayama. In fact, even the word for exercise in Sanskrit is called as vyayama. And the word vya, we have the word vyakti, means my personality or myself. And ayama means ability to regulate my personality, or ability to regulate my true energy. And that is why it is called as exercise, is an ability that will bring you confidence, that will bring lightness to your body, that will reverse aging. And that is what vyayama actually means. And the same way, pranayama means the ability to regulate, control, influence, moderate the prana element in your body. So that is what pranayama literally means. Now, the concept of vata in Ayurveda is something which is very unique. Now, the word vata is one of the three doshas, and the dosha means that which triggers you. So anything that is triggering you is called as dosha. And the first dosha is called as vata, because vata is the most powerful triggering factor in everybody's life. In Charaka Samhita, there is an exclusive chapter for vata called as Vata Kala Kaliyam, the art of vata and its ability to enhance health and also to destroy your health. It can lead to death, because lack of prana or loss of prana is what we call it as death. And when vata is low or vata is hyperactivated, everything is topsy turvy in our health. So, the concept of understanding vata is very unique to Ayurveda, and which is also one of the reasons why people consider Ayurveda is able to heal many of the illnesses that are called as irreversible or diseases of unknown origin mentioned in many of the mainstream medicine, because vata cannot be found out through a laboratory diagnosis. It is something that does not have a mortality, not mortality, the right word is, it is called amurtatva. Amurtatva means it does not have a form. It is very difficult to understand it, but maybe you can feel it. I mean, we know that there is wind when it is hitting on the tree leaves. When the leaves are moving, we know there is wind and we can feel it, but we cannot see it. There is no form for wind and there is no form for space. And vata is a combination of space and air. And these two don't have a form. And because of its formlessness, it is very difficult to understand it through a laboratory diagnosis or an investigation. And understanding of this vata is what makes Ayurveda a very holistic approach. And also in yoga, the concept of pranayama is what makes it giving the life energy. And in fact, the word yoga, it actually means to unite or to blend. And what are we blending with? It is with this prana. And what is this prana? This prana is the consciousness. This prana is what makes the creation possible. This is the energy that is responsible for the sun, moon, stars, oceans, the mountains, the rivers, the reason why our heart is beating, the reason why we are breathing, the reason why the blood is circulating, the reason why the food we are eating, we are converting it into energy. It is all coming from this prana. Like if you take a computer, you will have a battery, you will have a software, you will have a hardware, but it is the energy that is responsible for switching it on and making this intelligence function. And that is what we call it as prana. So, coming to the point, pranayama literally means the ability to influence, regulate, moderate, control the life energy inside of you. So, why do we call it as breath work also? Because that is where our life is. See, we can live without food for almost a month. There are people who do water only fasting for almost a month. There are people who can live without water for almost up to a week. There are some people, tribes living in forests, they are able to survive with or without water almost up to a week. But a normal human being, he can survive without water for up to 3 to 4 days. But without oxygen, we survive maybe maximum of 3 to 4 minutes. And that is how important it is. And that is why even in the mainstream physiology of a body, we call certain thing as vital capacity. And what is a vital capacity? Something that which is vital. In fact, the word vitamins comes from the word vital, something that which is very essential. When that essential aspect or nutrient is missing from your body, your life energy is going down. So what is this vital capacity? This vital capacity is actually your lung capacity. And what is lung capacity? Is your ability, how much efficiently are you using your respiratory system? Now let us understand what happens when we breathe. We inhale oxygen, and there is a process that is happening after we inhale. And post, after we inhale, there is an exhalation of carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide goes to the plants and the trees, and that is being recycled and comes back to us oxygen. So in fact, every activity of breathing that we are indulging in, we are in connection with nature. We are a part of this nature, mother nature's cycle. And that is what prana is. We are in touch with the life energy of this nature. And what happens when we breathe is, we inhale oxygen through our nostril. There are some micro hair that helps to filter all the pollutants that are entering our nostril. And then there are many pathways which are covered with mucus that helps to absorb all the pollutants that are still there. And then it passes through the lungs, it passes through the bronchus, and then it passes through the bronchioles, which is a smaller way, and then it passes through the alveoli. Now all these names that I gave, like bronchus, bronchiole, like alveoli, this is like, imagine you're going through a highway and then you take a detour to a smaller road, and then to another smaller road, and then you reach your small destination in a village, which is like a super small road. Maybe one car can go, or even a car cannot go. You have to walk through there because the pathway is so narrow. And that is what this alveoli is. This oxygen that we inhale through the nose, it passes through this respiratory organ and passes all the way to this alveoli. And from this alveoli, it is entering our body. And it can enter the bloodstream, and it blends with the blood, and it goes through every part of the body. It blends with the iron, which we call it as hemoglobin, and it blends with the oxygen, and it is transported to every part of the body. There was a scientist, a lymphologist in California in the 70s. He was trying to figure out, we have a system called as the lymphatic system. And we have blood that is circulating in our body, and the lymphatic system is running parallelly to the blood circulation. Now we have one exclusive organ that is functioning just for the blood circulation, but we do not have an exclusive organ for the lymphatic circulation. Like, if the heart is not there, what happens is our blood will flow down and it will never fight the gravity and go to your brain. We can be brain dead if there is no heart. But what about lymphatic system? If our lymphatic system is not functioning for 24 hours, we can be brain dead. And why do we have lymphatic system? The purpose we have lymphatic system is, when nature is designing and evolving all the species, blood is a very notorious personality. It doesn't have a proper discipline when it comes to littering. I mean, it wants to throw all the toxins whenever and wherever the blood wants, because blood says, if I am toxic, I can pollute the whole body. And that is why we can do all the diagnosis to a great extent just by identifying the blood. And blood is called the river of life. Just like if you pollute the river, the civilization can get polluted. Same way, when the blood is polluted, the whole human body can get polluted. So the blood says, I cannot tolerate any toxins coming into my body. And every time I get a toxin, and whenever I see that it's a toxin, I'm going to eliminate it out of my system, because I want to keep it as pure as possible. So the blood has a tendency to notoriously eliminating toxins whenever it wants. So nature realized, if the blood is going to keep on eliminating toxins like this, we need something to collect it. And that is why we have something called as the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system collects the waste from the blood and makes sure it is processed and eliminated in a very systematic, in a disciplined manner. It goes out as sweat through our skin, also through all the water excretory eliminations that are happening in our body. It is after the passing through the blood system. Now, we have one organ exclusive for the functioning of the blood circulation, but we do not have an exclusive organ that is functioning, that is making the efficiency of lymphatic circulation good enough. And when our lymphatic system is not functioning properly, which means all the toxins that we are collecting from the blood is also not being eliminated properly, and there will be limitations for the blood to eliminate the toxins. So a proper functioning of lymphatic system is a very important aspect of healthy blood, and a healthy blood is a healthy life. So a lymphologist, he tried to keep a special camera to understand what makes the lymphatic system function properly. And he tried to figure out many various things. And through this camera, he was trying to get a group of people and to try to understand what are the factors that influences the better efficiency of lymphatic circulation. He saw that when people are exercising, the lymphatic circulation is improving. And he saw that it's not just the exercise. When people are doing aerobic exercise, where they indulge in exercises where they are breathing a little better, and anaerobic exercises, when people are indulging in that, the lymphatic circulation is not as efficient as in aerobic exercise. And then he even found out it's not even aerobic exercise. Even if people are not indulging in exercises, when they are just doing deep breathing, diaphragmatic breath, lymphatic circulation is functioning very efficiently. So his finding was a good breathing is a good prerequisite for an excellent lymphatic circulation. And a very good lymphatic circulation means good lymphatic drainage, which means our blood is being purified. So every time we are breathing deeply, calmly, intensely, our blood is being purified. And let us understand this concept. Every aspect, every action that is performed in our body, like if you go to a neurologist, they have this concept of voluntary functions and involuntary functions. Involuntary functions means anything that is happening without our conscious effort. Like we don't consciously, okay, now I have to make sure my heart is beating. Whether we are conscious about it or not, the heart still goes on beating if we are alive. We don't have to be conscious about, now I have to digest the food. We just voluntarily consume the food, and afterwards the digestion is taken care by the involuntary actions of our nervous system. Blood is circulating involuntarily. Like this, majority of the works that are happening inside our body is happening involuntarily. And there are certain voluntary activities, like we do have certain control over certain things. Like, for example, if I'm having hunger, I want to go and eat, that is voluntary. If I want to drink water and I have the urge of thirst, then I go and do it. That's a voluntary activity. So every activity that we are performing, we can classify it into voluntary and involuntary. But there is one activity which is essential for the functioning of our body that can be put under both voluntary and involuntary, which is conscious and unconscious activities. And that is breathing. And there is a huge secret behind this. Now, when I say secret, only humans have the ability to be conscious and be voluntarily doing an activity for breathing. Most of the animals run on an autopilot when it comes to their breathing. But humans, we do have the capacity to be conscious and aware about our breathing patterns. And this ability is what gave a lot of advantage over many other animals. And this ability of being aware of our breathing, being conscious of our breathing, is a pathway to a lot of not only spiritual progress, a lot of physical, mental, emotional, immunity, all of these aspects can be improved once we are aware of this. Now, let us just understand the lifespan of animals and their number of breaths per minute. If you take a dog, a dog breathes from its chest. It's always like it's breathing really quick. And if you see the number of breaths a dog has, it's about like 32 number of breaths per minute. And the longevity of a dog is about 15 years. If it is very well domesticated and well kept and well fed, and if it doesn't have any traumatic experiences, a good longevity of a dog can last up to 15 years. Now let us take an elephant. The longevity of an elephant is about 80 years. And if you see the number of breaths per minute, it's about 8 number of breaths per minute. And it can go up to 12 also. So what we understand is the number of breaths that is increased in an animal, it is also increasing the longevity. And if you take a tortoise or a turtle, the number of breaths per minute is about 3. It breathes 3 times per minute, and the longevity, it goes beyond 150 years. Now, the purpose of analyzing this number of breaths per minute of an animal and its longevity is not that we have to breathe like a tortoise. The idea is we can be on autopilot mode, and we can also be conscious about our breathing. And when we are conscious, we naturally tend to breathe deeply. When we are unconscious and under stress, and when we are not under observation or alert, we can breathe quite quickly, and that will reduce our oxygen intake, the oxygen that is required in each and every cell in our body, and that can also reduce the longevity of a person. However, this is only a hypothesis because we don't have a published paper saying that how the number of breaths can increase the longevity, but this is something that we can hypothetically understand and correlate. Now, let us imagine you are stressed out. And when we are stressed out, our muscles shrink, constrict, and we tend to breathe quite shallow. And when we breathe shallow, our energy is also low because we are on an alert. We need to run and escape. And suddenly somebody comes and tells you, whatever you're stressed out, that problem has been solved. Just relax. And the next thing that we do is we take a deep breath, and we feel so calm and so relaxed. Why do we breathe so deeply when we realize we don't have to be under stress? Because we feel we can relax. Today, majority of the diseases that the humanity is suffering from is our inability to relax, which means we are breathing shallow. And when we breathe deeply, we are giving more oxygen, we are giving our nervous system a chance to relax. And when we are relaxed, we are able to think better, our creativity is much better. And when our nervous system is relaxed, our endocrine functions are also enhanced. That is why breathing deeply is so very important. And breathing deeply and breathing calmly is so powerful. Now, if you ask why do people, whenever people who are smokers, now when they get stressed, they want to go and smoke. Now, if you see let's just use the logic. When people smoke, what is actually happening? They are actually doing a deep breath work from their belly, but only thing is they are inhaling something that which is toxic also. But that belly breathing while they indulge in smoking is helping them to relax. So it is not actually the smoking that is helping them to relax. It is actually the belly breathing that is happening that is helping them to relax. Sometimes people say, when I get stressed, I need to go and eat more. And even when you see people who are eating more, after they eat more, their stomach enhances and they have to breathe deeply. That is another thing that you can also correlate with these things. So when we can consciously take an effort to breathe deeply, this is a very important impulse and trigger to improve your emotional activating system. Now, when I say emotional activating system, see, every emotion has a corresponding number of breaths per minute. Like, for example, when we are relaxed and happy, we breathe deeply. When we are frustrated, the number of breaths can alter. And when we are really, really worried or anxious or having panic attack, people breathe really super quick. So when we are consciously able to influence this deep breathing, what is happening is we are giving a resilience to our nervous system so that we can deal with the problems that is coming to us in a much better way. See, when our energy is low, our ability to fight or our ability to deal with a problem is also low. That is why a small things we become super sensitive to small problems when our energy is low. But when our energy is high, even if a considerable amount of problem comes, because our energy is high, we can be resilient and we know what needs to be done, and that is when our clarity is coming. So this clarity is coming when we are able to breathe deeply. That is why we say that wherever your focus is going, your energy goes. So wherever we focus, when we focus more on our breathing, we are focusing on our prana. That is when our prana is enhanced. When the prana is enhanced, we are regulating the most powerful dosha, which is vata. And when vata is balanced, it is much easier to balance the pitta and it is much easier to balance the kapha. That is why in Ayurveda, first balance the vata. And if there is something else that is blocking the vata, get that out of the system so that the vata can move freely. When vata is imbalanced, it is very unstable, it is very erratic, it's full of speed, it creates a lot of tension, anxiety, dryness. But when vata is stable, it is calm, it is relaxed. There is stability to it. And that is prana. Prana is the healthiest version of vata. And only when we have the prana, only when we are able to enhance the prana, we are able to reach all the balancing of the next level, which we call it as tejas and ojas. Like the prana is the healthiest version of vata, tejas is the healthiest version of pitta, and ojas is the healthiest version of kapha. But the foundation starts with good prana in our body. And this prana is not just from deep breathing, it is also how we are connecting with the food. The food that is more connected with nature will have more prana. The water that is more coming from the natural source will have more prana. But the more packaged it is, the more filtered it is, we are zapping out or draining out the prana out of it. That is why, if you want to enhance the prana, make sure you are breathing deeply, you are eating food that are more connected with nature, and at the same time, make sure you are more in touch with nature and in yourself. So there are so many various ways of doing pranayama. One is definitely deep breathing. There are alternative nostril breathing like anuloma viloma. There are many other. There are more than 100 different methods of pranayama mentioned in Hatha Yoga Pratipika. Now, which one do we start with? The purpose of this speech is to put seeds inside you to realize how important and a non-negotiable pranayama has to be if you have to break your patterns. Now, why do I say patterns? The word bhuta in Sanskrit, it means like the elements, the reality, whatever you're seeing is it's actually a bhuta. And in Sanskrit, bhuta also means the past. And the bhuta also means a ghost. Why a past, reality, and a ghost all are they called bhuta? Because in one of my previous lectures on anxiety, I said that because when you are haunted with your past, that is like a ghost. You're not able to come out of it. In fact, we are a collection of memories. And that is why they say happiness is good health and bad memories. If you are able to get out of bad memories, I mean, unhealthy memories that are not helping us, and if we can cut from those memories, we are able to live freely. This ability to let go. And that ability to let go comes with clarity. And that clarity comes with practicing more of your awareness to the prana elements, which starts with your breathing. Like one of my very favorite statements of Viktor Frankl, who wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. He says, between the stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is the power for growth. Like every time somebody comes and tells something that can trigger you, and if you automatically react with negative emotions, That means our space is limited. We are not taking the time to understand why did he say that? Does he really mean that? Even if he really means that, should I take it personally and drain my energy down? And that ability to think comes with increasing that space between stimulus and response. And in order to enhance the space, it starts with being aware of our prana or pranayama. So, one of the best easy baby steps to indulge in this, it starts with every morning when you get up, you could sit, or when you're lying down, keep your hands on your stomach and one palm on your chest. When you inhale, the stomach has to expand out like a football. And when you exhale, it has to retract like you have a flat stomach. So, this understanding is quite vital because many times people do it the other way around. So, once we understand this, this is the basics. Like when we inhale, our stomach, abdomen expands. And when we exhale, it becomes contracted. And in pranayamas, one thing that you will observe, there is more focus given to exhalation than inhalation. And why more focus is given to exhalation is when you exhale, you are giving more space for new, fresh oxygen to enter your system. Like in many philosophies like Zen, they say we have to first empty the cup, only then we can allow new tea to enter the cup or water to enter the cup. Same way, only when we exhale, we are allowing space for something new to enter your system. And that is why exhalation is given more important. And once you put some effort in exhalation, inhalation is an effortless process. That is why exhalation is given more importance. So when you're sitting, just be extremely alert and aware of your breathing and breathe from your stomach with a deep inhalation. And you are observing, you're observant of all the thoughts that are happening. You are aware of your breathing, the oxygen that is passing through your nose. You feel the smell. You feel all the sensations in your skin, the sounds. This is best done with the eyes closed because once we close our eyes, we are able to use that energy to all the other sense organs because vision takes 80% of the energy that is transmitted to our nervous system. So once we close that, we are giving a lot more energy to be sensitive to the other sense organs. And our sense of alertness goes higher. That is also why in darkness we are much more alert, or we can also relax in darkness because vision gives a huge trigger to our nervous system. That is why closed eyes makes a very important practice, very important prerequisite for this practice. And when you are aware of this, every time you feel your thoughts are going out, bring it back and bring it back to your and focus on your breathing with your inhalation and exhalation. Try this for maybe the first day you try it for like 5 minutes and then increase it to 10 minutes and then increase it to up to 20 minutes. And then advance, you can go up to half an hour to 1 hour. And then when you pursue more yogic studies, more holistic healing systems, understand more about different types of pranayama. Like there are pranayamas called as Bastrika, Sitali, Brahmari, and there are even pranayamas called as Ujjayi. And there are also pranayamas which are blended with some bandhas where we are blocking some of the energy flow in certain bandhas. It's not like blocking, we are constricting so that the energy is much more pronounced in that area. And you can also blend it along with chanting of mantras. In fact, mantras are expression of sound, and sound is the way we alter the Vata energy because ears, we hear through the sound. There is a vibration that is going and touching, and that energy is coming from mantras. So one is deep breathing and being complete aware of your breathing. And the other one is alternative nostril breathing. We call it anuloma viloma. Now, there are various ratios like you inhale, hold for a few seconds, and then you exhale for more, and then again you hold, and then again you inhale, hold, and exhale. For beginners, I would just recommend just close one nose, start with your left nostril, inhale, and then don't even think of holding it. Then exhale through the right nostril, and then inhale through the right nostril, and then exhale through the left nostril. Just try this at your own pace for the beginners. Don't try anything advanced, because if you try it advanced, then you might think this is not for me and you'll give it up entirely. Give yourself at least 30 days to practice this. Just alternative nostril breathing. And if you are finding it difficult to breathe through both the nostril, and why do we do this alternative nostril breathing? Because many people's one of the nose are blocked. So in such situations, in Ayurveda, there is this procedure called as nasyam that can be done. Or even in yoga, they have this therapy called as jalaneti. This is also fantastic. And when you reduce food, that increases mucus in your system by eliminating that, because mucus can go and block, and some people can have blocked nostril because of that, or mucus congestion. And once we eliminate that and also indulge in more exercises and aerobic exercises, this will open up your nostril. So this way, this can help to improve your breathing. So just to give you an idea, practicing belly breathing with awareness and alternative nostril breathing, these are two great methods to enter into this beautiful world of pranayama. And pranayama is not just breath work, it is bringing your awareness to everything that you're doing in your daily life. And that is where, wherever our focus goes, that is where our energy goes. That is where our prana goes. So pranayama literally means regulating our prana, and that regulation comes with our ability to be aware, our ability to be mindful. Hope this lecture was helpful, and if you find it informative, please do share it with your friends who can benefit from this. And if you are looking for a one-on-one Ayurvedic consultations, if you would like to improve your health, if you are suffering with any metabolic disorders or any chronic illnesses where you feel Ayurveda can be of real help, and if you want a real health guidance, please feel free to contact me, and you'll find the details of how to get an appointment with my consultation in the show notes of this episode. And thank you for all for listening, and have a beautiful day.